Have you ever heard a sound so unnatural, so piercing, that it felt like it wasn't just echoing through the air but clawing its way inside your mind? That's what I heard the night I first encountered it. I was deep in the jungles of West Java, following a trail barely illuminated by moonlight. The locals had warned me not to wander after dusk. They whispered of something that lived in the canopy, something larger than any bat known to science. They called it Ahool. At first, I thought it was nothing more than folklore. Every culture has its monsters, after all, but then the forest went silent. The cicadas stopped their endless chatter. Frogs along the riverbanks fell mute, even the wind seemed to die. And then it came, a sound that tore through the silence like the cry of a giant bird and the screech of a bat combined, a single, terrible note, Ahool. The sound shook the trees, leaves rained down around me as if the jungle itself shivered. My flashlight beam darted wildly across the branches, but all I saw were shadows shifting too fast to follow. And then I realized something chilling. The sound wasn't distant. It wasn't somewhere in the jungle ahead of me. It was above me. I tilted my head back just in time to see an enormous shadow glide across the moon. Its wingspan must have been nearly 12 feet, maybe more. The creature moved silently except for the powerful rush of air displaced by its wings. For a second, I caught its shape, broad, leathery wings, a body like an enormous bat, and a face, almost human. Almost. It circled once, screeching again, that same Ahool. Before vanishing into the canopy, my heart raced. My legs wanted to run, but every step I took felt as though it only drew me deeper into its hunting grounds. I should have turned back then. I should have listened to the villagers. But something inside me refused to retreat. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was arrogance. Whatever it was, it kept me walking into the heart of the jungle, straight into the Ahool's domain. The jungle felt different after that scream. I could sense it in my bones, in the way the shadows seemed to lean closer, in the way the trees seemed to press inward. I wasn't just a visitor anymore. I was prey. I forced myself to keep walking, each step muffled by the thick carpet of leaves. My flashlight beam trembled in my hands, casting shaky circles on vines that looked like twisting serpents. Above me, branches groaned as though something massive shifted its weight. Then came the smell. It wasn't decay, not exactly, more like the heavy, musky odor of a predator that has claimed its territory. It coated the air thick enough that I could almost taste it. I whispered to myself, it's just a bat. Just a bat, but even as I said it, I knew I was lying. Normal bats didn't shake the ground when they landed. Normal bats didn't make silence feel alive. Somewhere to my left, water trickled through the underbrush, a narrow river. I moved toward it, thinking maybe the sound of flowing water would calm my nerves. Instead, it amplified every noise around me. Splash. I froze. Something had entered the river upstream. I killed my flashlight, crouching low, straining my eyes against the dim moonlight. Ripples spread across the water's surface, moving closer, closer. Then, just to the edge of my vision, I saw it, a massive, clawed hand dipping into the stream, scooping up fish in a single swipe. The hand was covered in fine, dark fur. And attached to it was the same winged shadow I had seen above me. It crouched by the water, its enormous wings folding tight around its body like a cloak. For a moment, it looked almost human, its head tilted, its eyes reflecting silver in the moonlight as it devoured its catch. I should have been terrified. I was terrified, but I couldn't look away. Because in that moment, the Ahool didn't feel like a monster. It felt like something ancient, something older than the jungle itself. And then, as though it could sense my thoughts, its head snapped in my direction, its eyes locked onto mine. I wasn't watching it. It was watching me. I couldn't breathe. Its gaze pierced me like cold steel, and blinking, unshaken. The jungle around us seemed to vanish, leaving only the space between those glowing silver eyes and my trembling body. Then it moved. Not like a man, not like an animal. It shifted with a fluidity that made my stomach twist, wings unfurling in one smooth motion. Their span was colossal, blocking out the stars above. The air grew heavy, filled with the low rush of feathers brushing leaves. It rose onto its hind legs, tall, impossibly tall, towering above me with a silhouette both humanoid and monstrous. My flashlight shook as I dared to flick it back on. What I saw will never leave me. A face stretched between the features of a primate and something far more alien. Wide mouth, teeth sharp but not like a predator's, more like a warning. Its nostrils flared, chest expanding as though it was filling itself with the scent of my fear. And then it let out that sound again. That cry. That horrifying, bone-deep scream that didn't just echo through the jungle, it lived inside it. I clutched my ears, but it didn't help. It vibrated through my chest, rattling my ribs, shaking my thoughts until all I could hear was Ahool, Ahool. The beast lunged forward, stopping short just a few feet away, crouched low like a predator deciding whether or not to strike. I stumbled backward, nearly tripping into the river. The water lapped at my boots, cold and fast-moving. My heart slammed so violently in my chest I thought it might break free. But the creature didn't attack. It studied me, tilting its head, wings slightly spread, as though testing how I would react. My instincts screamed at me to run, but my legs refused to obey. I was caught between terror and awe. The jungle grew deathly quiet again, not a bird, not an insect. Not even the river seemed to dare speak against the silence the Ahool commanded. Then, slowly, deliberately, it raised one clawed finger to its mouth. A gesture. As if telling me to keep quiet. And then it leapt. The air exploded as its wings beat once, twice, launching it high into the canopy. Leaves and branches rained down around me, the moonlight swallowed by its monstrous outline. And then it was gone. At least, that's what I thought. Until I realized the jungle was still silent. Silent because it was still watching. I stood frozen in the riverbank mud, eyes scanning the black canopy. Every shadow seemed alive, every rustle a threat. My heart hammered so loud I was sure the creature could hear it. Then, the silence broke. A branch snapped above me, my flashlight swung upward, catching only a glimpse, vast wings folded against a massive body clinging to a tree trunk with clawed limbs. Its head tilted, eyes reflecting silver and blinking. It had been there the whole time, watching, waiting. I stumbled back, water splashing around my boots, but the creature moved faster. With a burst of power, it launched from the tree, swooping low. The whine from its wings knocked me off balance, nearly dragging me into the current. The cry came again, that ear-splitting scream that wasn't just sound, but something deeper. It rattled inside my skull, a chorus of voices echoing through the jungle. I collapsed to my knees, clutching my head, tears streaming from the sheer force of it. And then, silence. I looked up. The Ahool hovered just above the river, wings outstretched, illuminated by the pale glow of the moon. Its face seemed almost human now, sorrowful, ancient, as if burdened by something far older than the jungle itself. It lowered, until it was nearly at eye level. I could see every detail, the leathery texture of its wings, the sharp glisten of its teeth, the steady rise and fall of its chest. For a moment, I thought it might speak. But instead, it reached out one clawed hand, not to strike, not to harm, but as if to touch me. The air between us vibrated, heavy with unspoken meaning. And then, with a single thunderous beat of its wings, it vanished into the night sky. The jungle came alive again, frogs croaked. Insects hummed, birds called. The world returned, but I knew I had seen something beyond it, something real. No one believed me when I returned. They laughed. They told me it was exhaustion, or a dream, or madness brought on by isolation. But every night when the world falls silent, I hear it again. That cry. Ahool. And I know it's still out there, watching, waiting. If you were there with me, would you run or face the unknown? Share your thoughts in the comments, drop a like if you want more chilling encounters, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel at Twinkling17 for full stories of the world's most mysterious creatures.